Everyone. This is Kevin Endress. I am the music teacher at Tar River Elementary, and I was asked, but I volunteered more about different things that I do with my teaching technique and different things that I do within my classroom that would be beneficial for you. The previous video that I had was about the NCDPI documents, the curriculum documents, and the usefulness of those documents and how that really looks at what you do inside the classroom. So, here are some things and a bit of advice that I have learned not only with working with students and teachers in North Carolina, but in other states as well. So, a little bit of background about who I am and what I've done is that I have a background in both EC or special education and music. I have degrees in both, and I really try to take this from what would an administrator like to see me do. So, the reason why the NCDPI curriculum documents are so important is that it provides a backbone to what the principal would like to see. All of the teachers in our school at Tar River are required to post what standards they are hitting. Now, I'm not sure what that's like in your other schools, and I would like to say that all of them are doing the same as well, because a very high standard in our county holds us to a rather high standard. At least I would like to believe that it's a high standard, but what we should be doing is a very high bar to look at. So, make sure you're familiar with the standards. Make sure that you know with each lesson, with precision, the standard that you're hitting and how that is connected, and make sure it's posted. I have an ICANN board in the front of my room that if you guys would love to come and see it, I have no problem. Just pop into Tar River Elementary and say, hey, Kevin invited you to come see the room. So I have ICANN statements. This is something that I learned from my special education background, and the school district that I was a part of mandated all teachers to have ICANN statements. So what you do is you take the standard and you put it into student language. You take almost all of the music jargon out and you say, I can. Let's say you're doing rhythms with quarter note, eighth notes in 4/4 and 3/4 meter. I can read rhythms with, let's say you want to do woodblock or with classroom instruments. But if it's kindergarten, you really want to do it in I can play rhythm or I can show steady beat. And what I do is with those words that are larger, like steady beat, I try to be aware that I put it either in a different color when I write it, because I use sentence strips. Elementary teachers love these sentence strips. I love them. I use them. And what I do is I try to underline it with a different color or write steady beat in a different color. This draws the kids' eyes to that word because that's a vocabulary word, really. However you want to do it is up to you. All right, but I would definitely suggest that somewhere in your room you dedicate some space to I can statements. This will help you out in your observation with your teacher mentors, if you have one, and your principals as well. The principals want to see standards. They want to see that you're hitting certain things and that you're not just there to play instruments. And you're not just there to sing songs and pretend to do music. So another thing that I like to do is I like to have a map of where I'm going. So in my office, I have a piece of chart paper. So I have those big rolls of paper. What I did is I cut a big one out and I took post-it notes with different colors and I started to map things out. So I have an August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April, and I have everything kind of visually mapped out. Why? because they connect to the standards. What I've done is I have internalized the standards and internalized that crosswalks and all those almost like the pacing guides for it, and I've broke it down by month. This gives me a good grounding on where I should be, what I'd like to do, so that way I can also turn to my principal and say, hey, look, we got a plan. Now, we are currently looking at ways to have a standardized look at everything. But right now, the way it is you want to come up with some sort of plan. If you want to use mine, I have no problem sharing it with you. Please let me know by my email, and I will make sure Miss Cook knows my email to give that out to you guys in case you need it. I'm always available. I always try to answer my emails and things like that. So with the lesson, what I like to do is I like to periodically go throughout my lesson readdressing the I can statements. So I usually have 2 I can statements a lesson, and every time we do something, I quickly check. I go, hey guys, did we do, and I walk over the I can statement board and I go, did we do blah, 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 blah. Why? Because that's what the principals want to see. The principals want to see that you are constantly referring back to that. That's your grounding. You're grounding your lesson in these standards. And if the students can articulate whatever that I can statement is, let's say it says, I can demonstrate steady beat. How are you going to demonstrate that? Well, when you periodically go through your lesson and you check with the students, let's say you just got done with an activity where they're padding the beat to the steady beat to a piece of music. That's demonstrating steady beat. So what you do is you go back to your ICANN board and you go, hey, kindergartners or pre-K, did we do demonstrate? Now, I wouldn't do demonstrate as a kindergarten word because they don't really have that vocabulary, or they may not yet. So I can play steady beat, or I can pat steady beat, or I can show steady beat. So anyways, what I would do is I would go back to that I can statement, I would read it, I go, did we do that? And if they did, I'd make a huge celebration about it. I'd be like, yay! And we all have fun, and we give each other's high fives, and then we move on. Or I go further with it. I go deeper with it, depending on what the lesson calls for, what I've planned out. So that's a little bit of what I can give you guys. What I also recommend is that you get to know your custodians really well, and they will be your best friend. Make sure they're your best friend. The bookkeeper, who deals with all the money, make sure that you get to know your bookkeeper and get to know them on even a personal basis, because they will be a lifesaver. Also, get to know the front desk reception, because we have Pam. I call her Miss Pam when students aren't around. But she has done so much for me, where I'll turn to her with music programs that I need printed out, which, by the way, we're going paperless this year. But I've said, hey, can you print this out for me? And she does it. So make sure you know who the front desk receptionist is. And if you have a data manager, make sure you know them very well as well, because those 3 people within the office are going to save you in a pinch. They just are. They will bail you out in more ways than you can possibly imagine, and they're great people to know. At least at our school, we love having fun with each other. We love getting to know each other on a personal basis. And those people I can have a talk to, whether I'm having a bad day, whether I need to find out what my account status is, how much money I have in my account, and so on. Those guys are key. Another thing that I would highly recommend you do is get to know the other content areas. Get to know what kindergarten does and when, or first grade when. what they do, second grade, and so on. There's constant articles about integration that can help you. If you need help with that, please let me know. I have tons of articles from the past 4 or 5 years that really help ground and justify what you need to do with that. So, if you have any further questions, please feel free to drop me an email. Beth will give you my email. If you don't, please expect something to be reached out to you, and I will make sure that we have a Google Drive. I'm sorry, not a Google Drive, a Google folder. We're probably going to morph it into a drive sometime soon. But we will be getting resources out to you as soon as possible, because with pre-K through 1, there's the Feierabend set of materials called Conversational Solfege and First Steps in Music, which is highly recommended. Brandon Rader and I love doing that. And I'm not so experienced with that program. I kind of do my own little thing. But I try to tie that in as a huge backbone into what I do. So make sure that you ask Brandon real soon, before we get started with the school year, about conversational solfege. Have that conversation. There's podcasts and everything that you want to know. Please ask us, because we have resources with the First Steps in Music. And if you don't have the book in your school, we have a PDF version, or segments of it, I should say, on the Google Drive, on the PLT folder. So we will be hooking you up with that. We also have a library of music that I put together, and then I will also be putting up soon a library of music color pictures, PDF pictures of different things that you can use in your classroom if I can get to it. So, I hope this is helpful for you. I hope I didn't spend too much of your time going on and on and on. Please feel free to reach out to me. I usually answer emails within 12 hours max. And Beth will give you my email, or you guys can always, I know Miss Simpson, I think, yes, Miss Simpson, I hope I got the right name. I don't quite remember. But I remember I've corresponded a little bit with the Mount Energy music teacher already about materials and resources. So if you would like research articles, I have a bunch of those you can read. I have information about the First Steps in Music that we can, and that we will, hook you up with by hopefully very soon. As soon as I get your emails, I'll put you in. And then anything else that I can possibly give you guys, please let me know. I'll be glad to get them. And when I get resources, I will also share them with you guys in case you want to do that as well. So this concludes our video. I hope this was informative for you. I hope you were able to get some other things from it. Make sure when you do your lesson plans that it's a format that you like to do. And I will try to put up some formats that I'm aware of, that I've used in the past, if I can find them electronically, so that way you guys can see things that I've done both in the EC world and in the music world. To me, I just use my monthly guide, and then I write down in my lesson plans, I write down the concept, what I'm going to do, what songs, stations if I do them, and things like that. So that way I know what songs I'm doing in what classes. So, I hope, like I said, this is going to be officially the end of the video. I hope this was fun for you guys. I hope this was helpful. Please reach out to me, and let's hope that we can make this an even better year.